Welcome to our YouTube channel premiere next. Today again our partner James and Mary are here for latest entertainment update, so stay tuned till last.
Welcome to the deep dive. So if you've been on Netflix recently, you might have seen this film, Ruth and Boaz, kind of quietly climbing the charts.
Yeah.
It's this modern take on, well, a really classic biblical story. And I think it works because it's just this really heartfelt romance, you know? But it also digs into some pretty deep stuff like grief and faith.
It really does.
So today, that's our mission, basically. We want to unpack how the director, Alana Brown, and the whole team managed to blend these, really different worlds. The Atlanta hip-hop scene and this beautiful Tennessee vineyard.
Yeah, that contrast is striking.
Exactly. And how they made a story that feels, both ancient and totally now.
It's a fascinating balancing act.
Okay, so let's nail down the basics first, just for context.
Yeah.
It hit Netflix September 26th, 2025. Runs about, 93 minutes?
Just over an hour and a half, yeah.
And it's got some big names behind it. Tyler Perry, Devin Franklin producing. Written by Michael Elliott and Corey Tynan.
Right. Heavy hitters in the faith-based space, but also broader appeal.
And crucially, it's a contemporary romance. Faith-based, yes, but centered completely on Black characters. That feels pretty significant right off the bat.
Absolutely. And I think what really stands out when you look at it is the sheer difficulty of what they took on.
Yeah.
You've got the Book of Ruth, right? Ancient themes, loyalty, devotion, how you survive, really deep loss.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to translate all of that into, a 21st century setting. It's not just some light rom-com.
No, definitely not.
It's really about that slow, sometimes painful process of rebuilding a life after tragedy, step by step. And that deliberate modernization, that's really the key to understanding it, I think.
Okay, yeah, let's dig into that modernization because the setting swap is pretty brilliant. The filmmakers took the ancient fields and threshing floors and replaced them with these two incredibly distinct American scenes. First, you've got Atlanta hip-hop. The source material calls it bruised glamour.
Mm-hmm. I like that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
Captures the allure and the sort of the damage that comes with that world.
Yeah, fame, but with fallout. And then the total opposite. This rural Tennessee vineyard, sunlit, grounded, hands in the dirt work.
Pure Americana, almost. And that visual split, it immediately gives the story this whole new layer of meaning, doesn't it? About harvest, reclaiming things where true nourishment comes from.
And that contrast, it really hinges on the casting, wouldn't you say? Serayah McNeill as Ruth Mobley. She's the rising star whose life just implodes.
Yeah, she has to carry that rawness, that grief. But she still has that performer's magnetism even when she's broken. Mm-hmm. She's the outsider when she gets to Tennessee, culturally, emotionally.
Absolutely. She's kind of the vessel for the trauma in the story.
Exactly. And opposite her, you've got Tyler Lepley as Boaz. He's the vineyard owner, very grounded. He embodies that steadiness, generosity, quiet faith, carries his own past hurts, but quietly.
He feels like the safe harbor.
That's a good way to put it. And then Phylicia Rashad is Naomi. She's the matriarch, the spiritual, maybe emotional anchor.
Yeah, definitely.
She starts off quite stern, a bit prickly even. Mm-hmm. You see the generational weight there, the initial skepticism towards Ruth. Her journey towards acceptance is central to the film's whole spiritual arc.
Okay, so connecting this back. Why is this film hitting home for so many people? We have to talk about the romance itself. The chemistry between Serayah and Lepley, everyone seems to agree it's a huge strength. But it's not that instant, flashy Hollywood spark.
No, it's definitely a slow burn.
It's built on shared work, right?
Yeah.
Mutual respect, earning trust over time.
Precisely.
But I do wonder, and some critics brought this up, does building it just on loyalty and work risk making it feel a bit functional, almost like a duty instead of a real spark?
That's a fair question. I think the film tries to answer that by focusing on intimacy through service.
Mm-hmm.
Boaz's generosity, that whole biblical idea of letting Ruth glean from his fields, metaphorically.
Right.
It's shown in small, practical ways. Helping out, being there. They find their connection in the work itself, in the vineyard. The writers seem to have made sure the sparks are subtle, quiet conversations after a long day. It feels more real that way, maybe?
Okay, yeah. Less fireworks, more warmth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the payoff feels earned because it's about who they are together, not just some initial attraction.
That sense. So, okay, we've set the scene. Let's trace Ruth's journey a bit. She flees Atlanta, loses the spotlight, goes to Tennessee to care for Naomi, her late boyfriend's mother.
And that setting shift is vital. This small vineyard community, it's tight-knit, a bit wary of this, glamorous outsider.
Mm-hmm.
And Boaz isn't some knight in shining armor. He's just the local landowner. Practical, he has resources, but he's humble. He helps Naomi with her struggling property.
So the initial tension is Ruth's past trauma meeting the community's suspicion.
Yeah, basically. And what's interesting is how they resolve it. It's not through big blow-ups or confrontations.
It's through those steady acts of service again.
Exactly. Ruth slowly lets down her guard, sheds that celebrity persona, and she finds her voice again, literally, through music, but in a much more raw, authentic way this time.
Which leads to the vineyard fire. That feels like the big turning point.
Oh, absolutely. It's the crucible moment. This shared disaster forces everyone, Ruth, Boaz, the whole community, to work together, to look past their own scars and face this common threat.
And the ending brings it all together. The winery rebuilt, Ruth and Boaz getting married, her finding her purpose again, and that lovely touch with the wine bottle, the one that survived the fire, being renamed R&B.
Yeah, that's a perfect symbol. Merging her musical past with their shared future, it ties it all up.
Speaking of symbols, let's talk filmmaking. Alana Brown's direction, lots of tight close-ups, right? Very warm, natural light.
Yes, very much so. It reinforces that intimacy, the healing theme. The focus is on faces, hands, the physical work, not big spectacle.
And you can really see the producer influence there. I think Tyler Perry, Devin Franklin, they positioned the faith element to be really accessible.
Definitely. They updated those biblical ideas, gleaning, redemption, loyalty, but skipped the, heavy-handed preaching that can sometimes turn people off.
Right. It's not preachy.
No, the faith is presented as practical grace. People showing up for each other, community action, believing that things can be rebuilt, love can be restored. And that lets the film work as both a mainstream romance and a kind of modern spiritual parable.
Okay, now for the really fun stuff, the hidden details, the things you might miss on first watch.
Ah, yes, the Easter eggs.
Let's start with the music. Ruth's sound changes so much.
It really does.
In Atlanta, it's that heavy, produced hip-hop. Lots of noise, matching her life then.
The distraction.
But in Tennessee, as she heals, it softens. Becomes more acoustic, sometimes gospel-influenced. The sound literally follows her inner journey.
Yeah, it's a fantastic parallel. And another thing to watch is Naomi's wardrobe, Phylicia Rashad's costumes.
Oh, tell me about that.
Early on, she's dressed in these very stern, old-world, tightly buttoned outfits. Reflects her grief, her resistance. But as she starts to accept Ruth, as the family starts to mend, her clothes get warmer in tone, softer fabrics, looser silhouettes. It shows that whole arc of forgiveness and acceptance visually. No need for clumsy dialogue.
That's brilliant, subtle storytelling.
And keep an eye on the minor characters, too. The film apparently slips in some symbolic names or jobs around the vineyard harvesters, stewards, maybe a miller figure. Little nods to the original text.
Very cool. But the big one, the central metaphor we touched on, is the vineyard itself.
Oh, absolutely. The wine, the aging process, the barrels, the pressure of the press, and especially that fire, it all mirrors the firm's core idea.
Which is?
That pressure and heat, they can either destroy something, make it curdle, or they can concentrate it, refine it.
Ah, interesting.
Think about it. A seemingly ruined vintage, something spoiled, maybe caught in that fire. After going through that crucible, it can actually become the most valuable, complex bottle.
So the worst things, the trauma, the fire,
Yeah.
they lead to the richest result.
Potentially, yes. That heat and pressure forge something new. It's a direct parallel to Ruth's own journey through trauma to restoration. The ruined vintage becomes the prize.
Okay, so let's talk reception. Because it wasn't universally praised, right? We need to look at both sides.
For sure. On the plus side, people loved the lead performances, the chemistry, that vulnerability. And the centering of Black voices in this kind of faith-based retelling felt really important and connected a classic story to modern issues, fame, trauma, community.
Yeah, that definitely resonated.
But critics, well, some critics pointed out weaknesses, predictable plot points, especially in the middle, tidy resolutions, an ending that maybe felt a bit too neat, maybe even saccharine for some.
And that neatness, that seems to be the core issue, doesn't it? The film offers comfort, resolution, which audiences clearly love. Look at the streaming numbers.
Exactly. High audience engagement.
But when you're dealing with really deep trauma like Ruth's, is that tidy ending? Does it maybe simplify things too much? Does it feel true to the long, messy reality of healing?
That's the critical debate, really. The film makes a conscious choice for hope, for resolution, over, say, gritty realism. It knows its audience wants that consolation, that affirmation. The question critics raise is whether that tidiness is fully honest to the subject matter.
It's a tough balance.
It is. But regardless of that critique, you have to say Ruth and Boaz is significant because it manages to bridge that gap between, the core faith audience looking for affirmation and a general audience just looking for a well-made human story about getting through tough times.
Yeah, it offers a kind of template, maybe. Shows that faith stories can be cinematic, character-driven, culturally relevant without needing to be overly preachy.
I think so. It works because the faith feels practical. It's about showing up for people. Relatable stuff.
So our final take, definitely cue it up. If you want a heartfelt romance, strong acting, a bit of spiritual comfort,
yeah,
it delivers.
Go watch it. Look for that ruined vintage becoming the prize.
But here's the thought we want to leave you with. The film chooses quiet healing, that tidy reconciliation over a big, messy drama. So think about this. In today's storytelling, when we talk about deep trauma, is that kind of tidy ending in a feel-good movie like this, is it a necessary form of comfort and healing for us as viewers?
Or does it maybe risk glossing over how complicated an ongoing restoration truly is?
Something to chew on. Go watch Ruth and Boaz. Think about that fire, that vineyard, and see where you land.